Nice to be here. I'm very humbled to be here talking to you guys. I think we're going to be talking about this subject based on Illusion Labs projects and products. I think many of you guys might even know more than I do about many of these things. So take it from our perspective and our products, and I think hopefully you will learn something new and see a new angle on some of the LiveOps things. So my talk, Creating Moment That Matters, how seasonal LiveOps events drive player engagement. I'm Dennis. I'm CEO at Illusion Labs. I've been a CEO for around a year now, a little bit more. So quite fresh to this position. And before that, I started out as an artist, game artist, and worked many years as an artist. And then I moved into more product management, marketing, game design, that kind of thing. And we're a small team, so when it comes to the small team's perspective, there's going to be a lot of that inside of this presentation. So we do a lot of different things in our team. We're 22 people. We've been around since back even before the App Store existed, creating games for many years, and we are most famous for our touchscreen games, I would say. I've been part of making Touchscreen BMX 2, which is our biggest title to date, and worked on Touchscreen Scooter, which was a little bit smaller, and a lot of platform games like Way of the Turtle. We've made Mr. Crab. We made a game called Bacon Escape that was quite funny as well. So we made many different types of games, but we are mostly focused on our extreme sports titles, that is the Touchscreen series. And most of the time we have created those games and done basically no UA at all. We come from the premium game, and we are working ourselves into the free-to-play monetization strategies and introducing UA and LiveOps and that kind of thing. But we had 240 million downloads organically on the Touchscreen series before. So we are trying to transition and keep some of that organic, but in this climate it's quite hard to stay organic. So we're trying to transition into offering our players something different. Yeah, and I was thinking, I set the stage with, we're going to talk about our latest game, Touchscreen X, and we'll take a look at the trailer before we start talking about it. So hope you enjoy. Yeah, so that's the space. Thank you. We're very proud of the product. We feel like it's a very good mobile game, and yeah, that's the product basically. Yeah, let's continue. So there's going to be some overlap with Alison's talk, and I think she gave some insights that were very interesting. I'm going to try not to overlap too much, but go into this kind of things from our perspective. And when we work at Illusion Labs and design our games, we usually design things based on this golden triangle of game design, which is engagement, retention, and monetization. We'll talk a bit less about monetization, because I think retention and engagement is the key metrics when it comes to LiveOps. And if you don't have those kind of things, you won't have monetization. Let's see. So engagement is basically the core game, like the game. It's what they engage with. And retention, it's what player loyalty. And I'll go into more depth with that. So interacting with the game, interacting with events, and how they interact, and we measure them with session length, sessions per user, and also how they interact. Are they interacting with the game as you intended them to do it? You need to track that kind of thing and take a look at the data and seeing if you are doing things that are actually making sense to the game, like you said before. Retention reflects the player loyalty or customer loyalty, like in other businesses. It's measured more in a wider time span, like days, weeks, months, even years. So it's a different thing to take a look at when it comes to the data. Our strategies to increase retention is well-designed first-time user experience, and that includes tutorial. But sometimes it includes also like removing the tutorial. Especially the case, I have a case in Touchgram BMX2 where we had a tutorial that taught them exactly how to play the game. We made an A/B test of removing it, and the retention got better. So it's about having the data to back your decisions, and sometimes the first-time user experience is not about teaching them everything they need to know. It's about making them learn for themselves and removing all the elements that they think is boring. People hate tutorials. They really do. And that's my conclusion of Touchgram BMX2. Yeah. Long-term goals, progression system, or actually progression systems in some cases, is very important for retention. Rewards, everyone loves rewards, and you need to have something that you come back for and the rewards you want to get and you want to collect. You gotta collect all the bikes, or you gotta collect all the levels and that kind of thing. And also, of course, the social features that are more into the late retention. So creating a social connection with the game and the game's community and the players. And it can be quite easy features or simple features like leaderboards. That's a social feature, according to me. It can be having a Discord service server that you are pushing towards your players. You can have clans. You can make it like in, I think in Diablo Immortal, they have quite a lot of social elements, and they have been working quite hard on that. You don't have to go that far to make the game social. All the elements of social, I think, is good for long-term retention. Yeah, and also one thing I want to point out is aligning your storefronts and your marketing creatives with what the game is actually doing. I think there's a lot of trends of fake ads and misalignment, that when players come into the game, they are not playing the game that they are thinking they would be playing when they downloaded it. And it's going to affect the retention, at least for us. When we see and measure the ads that we get the best retention out of, it's when it actually looks like the game that they will be playing. Monetization, like I said, it cannot exist without engagement. If they don't play the game, why would they monetize? We monetize through ads and in-app purchases. We have around a 60-40 split with 60% ads and 40% in-app purchases. And I won't go too much further into that. But you can always talk to me later if you are interested in the monetization systems. All right, moments that matter. We focus on creating emotional connections to keep players invested when it comes to our events. So events are designed to create a sense of connection to the game. The main mission of LiveOps is to drive engagement and retention through features that foster these connections, and that's how we design our LiveOps. And events help players feel a sense of community and attachment to the game. In this quote, I would say, think of seasonal events like a festival in a town. They break monotony, excite the crowd, and make memories. So it's a community that something new happens. LiveOps and events makes the game feel alive, more dynamic. It makes it you could be surprised by going into the game and seeing that, now it's all of a sudden, it's a spooky Halloween game, but it's actually an extreme sports game. And I think actually using and integrating the event into the heart of the game is the way to go, and it has been for us, because if you just throw a pop-up into their face and say, hey, it's Halloween, here's 10% off of a bike, it's not going to make a difference to the player. Maybe you will get some some purchases or conversions, but they're not going to stay longer just because of that pop-up. So making actual big things to the game is what I would recommend and what we've seen most success with. And in this case, we made it with the main menu, and inside of the game you collect pumpkins while you were playing. Try not to hide it behind sub-menus, because it needs to be apparent that something is going on. And take advantage of the LiveOps opportunity and the event opportunity to show that the players that you are actually developing this game. So it never gets boring, basically. Next slide. All right, so let's dive a bit deeper into the economy of LiveOps or live events. I say that hoarding currency is bad for the game economy. You want people to spend the currency and get currency and spend it, and that's a cycle that you need to have to have a good and healthy economy. That's my idea of it anyway. But saving up something for something is also good for retention. And I feel like retention and monetization often contradict each other quite hard. So when you talk about the Battle Pass feature, for example, you introduce a Battle Pass to get better retention, but it might cannibalize on the rest of the economy. So you have to balance these kind of things and make a perfect balance between retention and your economy, game economy. So it's critical to design a well-designed economy from the start. Otherwise, you won't be having as many opportunities to do LiveOps events that are successful if you are not focusing as much on the economy of your game. Let's see. Here on the left, you can see our winter event that is going on right now in the game, and to the right, you can see the Halloween event store that we introduced. You would collect pumpkins instead. I just didn't have time to record the pumpkins collecting. I did it yesterday, I think. But this is how we decided to have it working. On the right side, you can see that we have different rewards that you can exchange for from your pumpkins. And the end reward is a spooky bike, a bone breaker, we call it. And we decided to make a limited time currency so that we can take advantage of the hoarding, but still not having the downsides of impacting the main economy. And that's why we introduced a time-limited currency. So to encourage them to hoard it and to not use it until they are ready to use it. And the currency will be useless after the event is over, so it will be boosting retention only, in my opinion. And I think the data spoke quite clearly. The pumpkin purchases became some of the top purchases in the game, and we didn't see a decline in any other purchases. So we could see that it boosted revenue, but didn't cannibalize on the rest of the economy. And I think that is also a good thing about cosmetics. Having cosmetics as the late goal or the end goal is a good thing if your game is mainly monetized on currencies and progression and that kind of thing. You can use cosmetics as a bragging right or as something else. So when we introduced our skeleton-themed bike, it wasn't just a reward, it was a bragging right and a conversation starter. And I think maybe I'm when creating this kind of things as well, we decided to calculate quite clearly how long time it should take to get all of these pumpkins for free. So we calculated based on the engagement of our players, so session length and amount of sessions per day and all of that kind of thing, and seeing will they be able to complete this during the time that the event is ongoing. And we balanced that to what we thought would be a good place, and we have the data for that, and it seems like it was a good calculation, but we will tweak it for the next rewards. But looking at that kind of data is quite important, I would say. And also event complexity. I played a game called Alien Invasion. I'm not sure if people here have played it as well. They have quite the complex events sometimes. So in our case, it would be maybe adding a pumpkin spawner or a pumpkin doubler, and you can invest your pumpkins into getting more pumpkins later, that kind of thing. You can do that, but when you do that kind of thing, you really have to know your core audience and what your players are doing, how they are behaving and engaging with the game. In our case, we didn't see that they are engaging with that types of systems as much, so we decided to make it more casual, more into the gameplay. We want them to play and have fun, and also interacting with the event. So make sure to know your core audience when you design events like this, because this might be too simple for other games that are more theory crafting, more optimization focused. So use data to understand their behavior. And yeah, this person said, "You all think I can get this in 6 days?" And he was laughing about it. 4 days later, "I've done it. I'm so proud." And he got the reward. So he was bragging about getting that reward, and the grind was too real, but so worth it. But he had 2 days left, so it cannot have been that real, in my opinion. But that's also a way to measure, like, how is the community reacting? How are they talking about the event, and how are they comparing and bragging about it? Because everyone will not get all the rewards, but everyone will be a winner. Because even if you just get a couple of pumpkins from playing, you will be getting a free reward. So you will have a good emotional connection to the event, and hopefully you will go into the next event having that same feeling.
Where is your community discussing this?
Discord, yeah.
Are you guys in there?
Yeah.
Are you in there? Do you write?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, every day. All right, let me see where I'm at. So I think I have a summary here. Engagement, retention, monetization is the golden triangle. You cannot make a sustainable business without them, in my opinion, or at least we don't think so. And LiveOps ties all of these together into something good. Create moments that matter. Be bold. Don't hide it behind a small menu, sub-menu. Don't just throw a pop-up for Thanksgiving. Actually do something in the game that makes them feel excited, and create that festival that is in town. The economy of LiveOps, make sure to put a lot of effort into designing the game's economy so that you can build upon that. It's a good thing to use limited time currencies for events, so you don't disrupt the rest of your economy. Incentivize hoarding for big rewards to get retention. And designing event goals and rewards, have a UC end goal, hard but achievable. Make sure you calculate that it's actually doable. Be careful when you do that, and test it a lot. Give small rewards for everyone so that everyone is a winner. Match the complexity of the event to your audience. And data-driven decisions are key when designing games and LiveOps events and seasonal events.